If you have the goal of working deeper with data, you have to understand SQL. And not because it replaces Excel, Tableau, Power BI, or any other data tools, but because the ability for you to leverage SQL enhances those tools. You can absolutely have a career where you are responsible for leveraging data, primarily only using Excel. You can have a responsibility of leveraging data in your career primarily only using data visualization tools. That's real data work. But when you add SQL to your toolbox, it allows for those processes to become more efficient, and in turn you become more competitive in the data landscape. Data lives within databases, and SQL provides you the ability to be able to retrieve that data, join that data, clean that data, and to be able to do so with a large volume of data. And if you look at job descriptions across industries, SQL is one of the most in demand skills across the space of data. And like I stated earlier, it works alongside those other tools. These tools do not work in isolation. Let's say you have a dashboard and that data that's presented in that dashboard, it doesn't quite match with what you expected. With SQL, it allows you the ability to go back to that data source, do some data investigation, perform a root cause analysis, and see where the disconnect was between that data and how it is being presented. SQL lets you do that. For those of you who do not know, I actually started out only working in Excel. I was receiving my Excel extracts from a colleague. One day my colleague was not at work. I had to go and retrieve my own data. That is how I was introduced to SQL on the job. This is exactly why I created SQL Essentials, because it allows for people to understand how data lives at its source. Before it gets to the dashboards, before it gets to the Excel extracts, it comes from SQL. In SQL Essentials, we focus on things like data dependencies, data investigation, data relationships, joining tables, aggregate functions, asking the right questions. Because learning those tools is only a small piece of being a competent analytic professional. Tools do not replace each other. They essentially work right alongside each other. For example, Excel gives you that ability to analyze that data, make sure everything looks good, even if it's a small subset of data. SQL allows you the ability to expand in that net essentially and be able to analyze very large data sets. So they all work alongside each other. Power BI goes right into data visualization, gives you the ability to analyze that data or present that data in a way that is easily consumable for someone that might not be data driven. Essentials is responsible for those who have the goal of moving into a more data driven role. Someone who possibly is receiving Excel extracts and they want to take more ownership and responsibility of their work, or someone who has always tried to learn it and there has been a gap for them. By the end of SQL Essentials, the goal is never to replace those tools, because even 13 years, me as a senior data engineer, I still very much so use all those tools. The ability is for you to enhance those tools.